Hello everybody, Jennifer Maker here. It's a beautiful day to make a cute paper gift box that looks like a cap. I'll show you how to turn a regular piece of cardstock into this neat box shaped like a baseball cap. Plus, I've got tips on how to use glue with less mess and better results. If you're new to all this, I know seeing these cool 3D projects that we can make with paper and glue can seem mysterious, even intimidating. But with the right materials, tools, and some patience, you can make anything, really. You can even recreate an everyday object like a baseball cap and turn it into a gift box. One way to make this box your very own is to use different cardstocks. You can keep it simple, of course, with like my red example here. It looks nice, right? But introducing pattern cardstock can really make a difference. Plus, you can add a decoration like this rolled paper sunflower. I made this paper flower using my flow tool. I'll show you how to make it, but you can experiment with other decorations like stickers too. And if you want to learn how to add a photo to your cap, like I did here with Hunter, and then that one as well, stay tuned to the last step in this tutorial for more details. Now you can cut the cardstock by hand or with a cutting machine. I'll use my Cricut Maker 3 cutting machine today to make it faster and more precise. You can also use another cutting machine that uses SVG or DXF files. It fits on everything from the Joy Extra and up. Now the most important parts of creating a 3D project like this are taking your time and making sure everything is secured correctly. My cap design uses tabs to help create curved seams, but if they're not adhered correctly, you might end up with a misshapen hat. The right glue really helps, so I'll share some tips on why I prefer this glue over other options. And make sure you have the precision tip ready too. You'll need to get into tight spots without making a mess, and some clear tape will be helpful as well. It's also really important to let your pieces dry before shaping another section, like when you're working on the dome panel seams. If the previous tabs aren't secure, they might pop open when you move on to the next one. So for this project, you can work on the dome and the base simultaneously, moving back and forth to let each element dry. Now that's a little confusing to show in a video, so I'll go through the dome and base one at a time, beginning to end. But just remember that you can use whichever process works best for you. Now I've got a full list of the tools and supplies that you need, plus links on where to find them over in my materials list. It's at jennifermaker.com/601. That's where you'll also find the written instructions with helpful photos and tips too. So, are you ready to get started? Let me show you where to get my free files, and then we'll begin. Step 1, get my free baseball cap box designs. First, download my designs at jennifermaker.com/601. You can either download right from that link by saving the project, or download from my entire free design collection. To find it, look for Libraries in the red bar at the top, and then click either Get a Password if you don't yet have one, or click Enter the library. Search the page for design number 601 and click the link to download the designs. And if you're not sure how to use these files, go to jennifermaker.com/svgs to learn how to download and unzip files. You can print and cut the PDF version by hand, but I'm going to use one of the SVG files with my Cricut cutting machine today. The SVG folder has a no-score version that uses dash cut lines for creases, as well as a score version that uses a scoring tool to make them instead. The score version creates a slightly cleaner cap, so I'll use that today, but you can use whichever one you prefer. Step 2, prepare your design. Let's start by adding the design to Cricut Design Space. Click the Upload button and then click Upload Image. Click Browse and find the cap SVG file with score in the file name. I'll demonstrate with this version so I can show you how to create creases with a scoring tool. If you don't have a scoring tool, you can use the design with no score in the file name instead and use dash cut lines to create the creases. Once you've selected the best design for you, click Upload, then select the new design under Recent Uploads and click Add to Canvas. With the design selected, click the Ungroup icon. I recommend always ungrouping a design after you upload it, as it will be grouped by default. Expand all layers to see the elements because there are a lot to keep track of here. The pointed pieces will be the hat's dome, and the rectangles with tabs will be the box sides. The large piece is the brim base, the small circle is the button topper, and the 6 rings are vent hole covers. The dome pieces and brim have optional stitching to draw on with a pen using your machine. We'll work on one piece at a time. Select and ungroup the top left dome piece. It has 3 layers: the stitches, a crease line layer, and the cardstock shape. Remember, if you're using the dash cut line version, you will only have the stitch and cardstock layers. If you'd like to leave out the stitching layer, you can delete it now. I'm going to use it though, so I'm going to keep it. So select the top layer, that's the stitches, and click on the Operation drop-down menu at the top of the screen and change it to Pen. Use the color box to select the pen type and color you want to use. I'm using an F fine point 0.4 millimeter Adobe Cricut pen. Different pen and cardstock colors will affect each other, so test the combination you plan to use on scrap paper to see how the colors interact. In the Layers panel, select the next layer for this dome piece, which shows a line as a basic cut layer with a red color box. That's how I indicate a layer should be changed to a score. So use the Operation drop-down menu again to change the layer to Score for the crease lines. If you want to change the cardstock color for the dome panel, select the next basic cut layer and use the color box to do so now. I'm going to use a pattern paper, so I'll just set it to a light gray. I also want to cut the dome pieces first, so I'll keep this my lightest color, which will make the Cricut put these mats first. Hold down the Shift key on your keyboard and click the 3 layers for the dome piece in the Layers panel. Then click Attach to keep the operations together. To keep the pieces straight, double-click the attached layer in the Layers panel and rename it Dome Panel 1. Use the same process to adjust and name the other 5 dome panel pieces. Take your time and remember to change the pen and cardstock colors to match the first panel. Next, select and ungroup the top left box side piece. It has 2 layers, a crease line layer and the cardstock shape. If you're using the dashed cut line version, you will only have the cardstock layer. In the Layers panel, select the top layer for this box side piece, which shows a line as a basic cut layer with a red color box. Remember, that usually means this should be a score in my designs, so use the Operation drop-down menu to change the layer to Score. If you want to change the cardstock color for the box side, select the next basic cut layer and use the color box to do so. I'll make mine brown. Hold down your Shift key and click the 2 layers for the first box side piece in the Layers panel. Then click Attach to keep these operations together. We want to keep these pieces straight too, so double-click the attached layer in the Layers panel and rename it to Box Side 1. And use that same process to adjust and rename the other 5 box side pieces. Again, take your time to avoid mistakes and make sure you make the colors match. Then use the same process from the dome panels to adjust the base and brim piece. I'm going to use the same pen color, but I'll make this a solid yellow. Don't forget to attach the layers after you've adjusted them. If you want to change the color for the vent hole rings or topper, do so now using the color box. I'm going to make them the same brown as the box sides. And now your hat is ready to cut. Make sure the correct machine is selected in the top right and then click Make. On the Prepare screen, make sure the correct material size is selected for each of your mats. My cardstock is 12 by 12 inches, so everything looks great. Click back on the first mat and then click Continue. On the Make screen, set the base material for your mats. I use the medium cardstock 80-pound setting with more pressure for all of my tests with good results. And since my next mat is Cardstock 2, I'll check the box next to Remember Material Settings to apply the same settings there. Now place your first mat's cardstock face up on a green standard grip machine mat with the top left corner of the material matching the top left corner of the mat's grid. And use a brayer to make sure it's fully adhered. Check that your premium fine point blade is clean and in the clamp. And when you have a mat with score and pen lines, follow the screen prompts to select and add the tool and pen you chose as needed. I'm going to use the scoring stylus, so I'll click Edit and pick that instead of the scoring wheel. Now, Design Space might not remember your tool choices between mats, so always check that they're correct. And then press the flashing Load button to load the prepared mat into your machine, and then press the flashing Go button to begin the operations. Design Space might prompt you to swap tools depending on your setup, so keep an eye on the screen. When it's finished, unload your mat, flip your mat over onto your work surface, and roll it back to release the paper. Use the spatula to help lift delicate parts and your weeding tool to poke out small bits of cardstock that may have been left behind. If you have any issues with your cuts, go to jennifermaker.com/cleanercuts for all of my tips. And use a scraper tool to remove the small bits left on your mat after you remove the cut pieces. Follow the same process to cut the rest of your mats. Remember to pick the correct cardstock for each section. When everything is ready, lay out all of the pieces face up. You should have 6 dome panels, 6 box sides, the brim, the topper, and 6 vent hole rings. Set the topper circle safely aside so you don't lose it. Step 3, assemble your baseball cap box. It's important to let your pieces dry well before moving on to some assembly steps. So you can either assemble one section at a time or work on the dome and box sides simultaneously, moving back and forth between them. That way you can keep working while the other pieces dry. Gift box assembly. Gather the 6 box side pieces. Each box side has a plain tab on one short side and a series of smaller tabs on a long side, which is how we'll adhere the sides to the brim. With the box side face down, fold the long crease line to bring the long side tab up. If you have trouble making straight creases, place your scraper tool along the line and then fold the tab up against it. One at a time, fold the small tabs up. Prepare the other 5 box side pieces the same way. Hold a box side piece face up so you can see the long tab surface and the multiple tabs are to the right. Add thin lines of craft glue along the long tab. Take another box side piece and hold it the same way so its plain short edge overlaps the first glued tab. Make sure the joint is flush from the outside and at the smooth upper edge and can bend easily. Then press the pieces together so they begin to set. Keep adding the rest of the side pieces the same way. Since we used a good amount of glue and these joints won't be under pressure to pop away from each other right away, they don't have to dry completely before you add more pieces. Just make sure that one long edge should have all the small tabs and the other should be smooth. Also, one short edge will be smooth and the other will have one unglued long tab. With the long tabs on the inside, bring the remaining long tab so its plain short edge overlaps the glued tab, making sure nothing is twisted and the small tabs are all on one side. It's okay if the small tabs have shifted and point in and out of the box circle. We can fix it later. Add glue to the remaining long tab and adhere it to the back of the short edge, completing the hexagon. Let it dry completely. Put your hat brim face up and position the assembled box sides so one flat panel is centered on the front. The opposite box side piece will go in the back, curving around the brim's edge. Add craft glue to the bottoms of the back piece's tabs. Position the glued edge along the center back of the hat base, gently curving the box side to match it. Press the tabs in place well. The first set of tabs must be completely dry before you work on the next ones. Gently lift a side piece next to the secured section so you can access the bottoms of the tabs. But don't lift the box so much that it pulls away from the brim. And make sure the next section's tabs are all facing inside the box. Use the glue's precision tip to add glue to each tab where it will touch the base. Starting near the secured side, press one tab in place at a time so the side aligns with the base's curved edge. When you adhere a tabbed piece along a concave curve, the tabs will move closer together and may overlap. When the curve is convex, the tabs will be further apart. Now let it dry completely. Then glue the other side edge adjacent to the back piece on the brim, again matching the curve. Once that has dried, glue the next side edge on the base, aligning the wall with the ends of the drawn stitches on the brim. This way, the middle panel will be centered. Let it dry and then glue the opposite wall the same way. Set it aside to dry really well before you work on the front wall. It won't be as easy to lift the gift box wall now that all of the other pieces are secure. So instead, carefully lift the front panel's tabs to add a bit of glue to the bottoms from the inside. Then slightly curve the wall out along the brim and secure the tabs in place. Let it dry completely while you assemble the dome. Dome assembly. Grab one vent-hole ring and a dome panel. Make sure the panel is face up so the stitches are visible and the tabs are to the right. When you're planning to shape a piece of paper, it's often easier to adhere small pieces while they're still flat. So add a few small dots of craft glue to the back of the ring. Flip the ring and align it over the vent hole. While the glue is still wet, turn the panel over so you can see the ring through the hole, and adjust the ring so the color is evenly visible in the hole. If you need to reposition a piece, do so while the glue is still wet to avoid damaging the paper. Look at the panel's front and gently wipe away any excess glue with a paper towel or a clean finger. Uncovered glue can pick up lint or dirt, discoloring your project, so always check for this. Set the panel aside face down to dry. If there's glue visible on one side of a project piece, let it dry with that side up so it doesn't stick to your work surface. Once the vent ring's dry, place a dome panel face up and fold the tabs back. If you have a panel that you want to use for the front, start with that one. Fold the tabs for a second dome panel the same way. Add glue to the front of the folded bottom 7 tabs on one dome panel. These tabs are on the straight section of the dome panel, so we'll work on them first before moving to the curved section, which takes more preparation. Align the plain edge of the next dome panel on the glued tabs. Make sure the bottom edges are flush. The untabbed dome panel edge should very slightly overlap the other to completely cover any gaps between the tabs. Press each tab from both sides and adjust them as needed while the glue is still pliable. Gently put the panels face down to dry completely. Prepare and glue the other 4 dome panels in pairs. Then glue them together to create a chain similar to the box sides. Once all the initial tabs are dry, secure the last bottom tabs to the remaining plain edge to make a hexagon. Let the dome dry completely. It's easy to pop these seams open while shaping the cap dome if they're not secure. Then add dots of glue to the rest of the folded tabs on the first panel. Bring the plain edge of the next panel over to meet the glued tabs. Make sure the tips of the panels match up perfectly, which will help you get the correct curve for the rest of the seam. Take a piece of clear tape and stick it to your hand a few times to make it less sticky. Then gently secure the tape to the cap's top so the points will remain in place. Don't press down too hard or the tape could damage the paper when you remove it, or the curve could flatten out. While holding the points in place, gently press down on the seam to help the panels curve. Carefully move down the seam to align and adhere the tabs. The most important part is to get the top completely aligned and secure. We can come back and fix the lower tabs if they're difficult to adhere right now. Flipping the project over to press from the back onto your work surface can help you see where the light is peeking through. Take your time to work around the dome, shaping and gluing the next 4 panel seams, letting each dry completely before starting the next. Set it aside to dry with the last panel unattached. The last seams on the dome are the trickiest, and if any of the other points were misaligned, this is when it will get difficult because positioning the last panel might not completely match the other pieces. To check, tuck the remaining tabs under the nearby panel's plain edge and see how well the point matches the others. Instead of working on all the tabs at once, add glue to the top 3 on either side of the last panel. Carefully put the last panel into position, making sure the tabs are all underneath the adjacent panels and covered. If any tabs are sticking out, the dome won't have the correct shape. Once the tabs and points are in the correct spot, use some less sticky clear tape to hold the last panel in place from the top. Flip the cap over and gently press on the upper tabs to make sure they're secure. Then gently lift up the unglued tabs on one seam so you can reach the undersides with your glue's precision tip. Add small dots of glue to each tab. Gently press the tabs back into place. Now before the seam dries, look at it from both sides and gently adjust any sections where the tabs are showing. Glue and adhere the last tabs on the other seam the same way, then set it aside to dry. And then gently remove the clear tape from the dome and use craft glue to adhere the top button right over where the panel's points come together. Press it from both sides to dry. And place the domed cap top on the box with the brim, and you are done. Optional, add a detail. If you want to add a detail to your finished hat, it's easy to do. It's easier to adhere a detail to the finished hat, so use the main tutorial to assemble your gift box and then follow these steps to add a detail like a rolled flower. Step 2, prepare and cut a rolled flower detail. When you're picking a detail design, see how large the item will be assembled. I have dimensions listed at the bottom of most of my tutorials. If you're making a hat with stitch lines, measure the area between the stitch lines on the front panel and make your detail just a little smaller. If you're not using the stitch lines, use the panel seams instead. And then use the main tutorial to find, upload, and add the rolled flower SVG of your choice to the canvas. I'm using the small rolled sunflower, which is design number 37 in my free library. You can find it at jennifermaker.com/37. I have lots of fun paper details you can add, so take a look around the library. Select and ungroup the flower design, and if there are any parts you don't want to use, delete the layers. I'll delete the stem and the back leaf pieces because they don't really make sense to add on the hat. My finished flower fit the hat perfectly and at the original dimensions. I don't recommend making the sunflower any smaller because the details will not cut as cleanly. Follow the instructions in step 2 to cut your flower pieces using the medium cardstock settings. Step 3, assemble your rolled flower detail. Insert the loose end of your sunflower petal spiral into the end of your quilling tool. Turn on your hot glue gun so it's ready when you need it in a few minutes because your hands will be full. And then begin rolling the tool toward you so the petals start overlapping. Do your best to keep the bottom edge of the petals aligned with one another. I find the flow tool really helps do this. And then keep rolling the petals until they're all rolled up, leaving the middle circles sticking out. Gently pull the quilling tool out of the rolled petals, but keep them in place with your fingers. Now put on your finger protectors and apply hot glue to the bottom of the roll. While it's still hot, fold the bottom circle over and press it in place on the glue to keep the rolled flower together. Turn your sunflower right side up and open up all the petals. Rearrange the petals as you'd like now while the glue is still a little wet. Add several tiny dots of craft glue to the back of the solid seed head. Press the solid seed head into the middle of the flower's front. Use really tiny dots of craft glue to adhere the detailed seat head on the solid piece. Finally, use some more hot glue to adhere the sunflower to the center of the hat's front panel. The hot glue will make it a little more secure than normal craft glue. Step 4, show it off. Your baseball cap box is finished and ready for you to fill with goodies and treats and give to someone special. Step 5, customize it. If you'd like to learn how to add a photo to your cap box, you totally can. I have 2 ways that you can do it, and you can learn how through a special program called Advance by Jennifer Maker. The Advanced program helps to advance your crafting skills by teaching you how to make these popular designs unique and special through tutorials and special templates, as well as give you advanced access to my vast library of designs, projects, and resources. Now, I may or may not be accepting new members into the Advanced program at the time you see this, but if you're interested, go to jennifermaker.com/advance to learn more and see how it all works. Now you've learned a lot about how you can turn a flat sheet of paper into a functional 3D item. Isn't that just so cool? I just love these. The right shapes, glue, and plenty of patience create amazing results. And I really have to say, the precision tip on my favorite glue, Barely Art Precision Craft Glue, there's like 5 words in that, I get that confused. They don't pay me to say any of this, no one does, remember that. I just love this glue. But the precision tip on my favorite glue makes all the difference in getting the glue where I want it instead of all over the place. So thank you, Barely Art, for creating this awesome glue. Plus, I love that while the shape says baseball cap, you can customize it in different ways depending on who you're making it for. So I'm not personally a big baseball fan, but I love a sunflower cap like this. Or if I was making this gift box for a sports fan, I could use their team's color or pattern paper that fits their interest. These are really, really customizable. And if you want to learn how to customize your own cap with a photo like I did with Hunter here and over there, go to jennifermaker.com/advance to learn about the Jennifer Maker Advance program. Want to get crafty but you're still in the market for a Cricut cutting machine? I regularly do a giveaway over on my blog. Maybe today is your lucky day. You can enter for the chance to win and get all of the giveaway details at jennifermaker.com/Cricut giveaway. I want everyone who needs a Cricut to get one. Now, if you have any questions about working with cardstock, adhesives, using your Cricut cutting machine, or anything else craft related that you think I can help you with, please let me know. Just leave your question below this video or ask over in our awesome Cricut Crafters group at jennifermaker.com/Cricut Crafters. We love it when you share your photos of your projects with us too. And that's it for today. Until next time, this is Jennifer Maker reminding you to craft a life you love.